right, at this time we'll begin the Longwood press conference with an opening statement from Coach Tillett.
Yeah, I'd just like to start with, our women, these three, and all of the women in the locker room should be incredibly proud of their, season, the historical nature of all of their accomplishments, and their performance today. Obviously NC State is a 1 seed for good reason, high level of talent, and really well coached. And I thought our women just fought over and over and over again. That's the number 2 scoring defense in the ACC, and our women were able to, in the second half, really stay determined and put up some really good numbers. I want to talk about these three real quick. Day-Day, just an incredible point guard, incredible mind for the game, someone that should be coaching a Power 5 team someday in her future. We joke on the team, about there's the playbook that we develop as a staff, and then there's Day-Day's playbook that's a separate playbook that has a lot of secret calls in it. That is why our team has been so good offensively over the course of the 3 years she's been with us. And then just a special thing she did this year when we had a freshman point guard coming in, Ken Calhoun, who you guys got to see play. And, most players, most people get a little bit sensitive about somebody else coming in that's also really, really talented. And just to watch Day-Day's development of the relationship with her and making sure that our program is going to be in good hands for years to come just speaks to her unselfishness and just an incredible, incredible point guard. Akila, just her growth over these 4 years. We've talked about it a bunch over the past couple of days, but just where she came from as a freshman, now to a senior, and really to be on a national stage in terms of her talent and just the commitment she's made to our team. There were times when she was hesitant to speak in a group with us, and look at her now in a press conference, ready to answer questions after a tough loss. So just incredible contributions to our program. And then Kyla, one of the fiercest women, one of the fiercest competitors I've ever met. So glad that I get more time with her. And these three have just forged a bond amongst themselves and then led our team every step of the way this year through some challenges as well. So just really excited for more opportunities with them on the court and off. And, just a team of really, really incredible women. And just the last kind of storyline is, we had to have 2 starters from last year not be starters this year. And that's not easy to ask 2 women who were starters all year last year to not be starters this year. So I thought Ann and Adriana took those roles and allowed Bree and Ken to step into those roles and allowed our team to achieve at really, really high heights, even though that's an unselfish act that you have to make. So just really, really excited for our program and the direction we're headed.
All right, at this time we'll open the floor up for questions for the student athletes. Start with Mitch, please.
Yeah, Mitch Northam from the AP. For any of the players, in the third quarter, you matched them in scoring, 26-26. That's a 3-time ACC championship team. What got into you guys in the third quarter? What worked so well?
Akila, could you start, please?
I think it was just our mindset coming out of halftime. We just wanted to be aggressive. We know we're a good offensive team, so we just put that together after a good first half.
Tredasia, is there anything you could add to that?
I think just being true competitors, like you're just not going to lay down and just take punch after punch. You're going to punch back, and basketball is a game of runs. So we knew that second half we're going to go on a run eventually, and that's when the time came, and we matched scoring with them.
Are there other questions for the student athletes? Let's go to Lindsay and then we'll get you.
Kyla, I believe you became the top scorer in program history in today's game. What does that mean to you? And you got a whole other year, so.
Yeah, it means a lot. Woo! It means a lot to make that accomplishment and to do it with these women. It's pretty cool, and can't wait to break the Big South ones.
All right, let's go here in the corner.
To any of the players, at one point in the first quarter coming into the second, you were even with them on rebounds, and that was making a difference. And you could see the energy that you all were putting out. Where did that change? What did they start to do that made it a little bit tougher?
Akila, could you comment on that, please?
I thought maybe, I don't know, they were more aggressive than we were.
Any other questions? for the
I'll go.
Go ahead.
I think what made the difference was we were trying to rebound in certain areas instead of finding a body and putting a body and boxing them out and just trying to get the rebound instead of just being in the area. So, yeah.
Let's go back to Lindsay.
So, Deja, I've had a chance to ask Kyla and Akila, but I know Coach really does a lot of teaching you about the history of the game and about the system. So I want to know, what have you learned about kind of women's sports as a whole that you're going to take from Coach and from your experience here in March Madness?
Just being empowered. Like, I wasn't talking in front of people before I got here. Like, I was just, like, basically like Akila. And just coming out my shell and, yeah, just being empowered and saying how I feel and standing on on how I feel, too. So, yeah.
Any other questions for the student athletes? All right, ladies, you're excused. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right. At this time, we'll open up the floor for questions for Coach Tillett. Anyone have a question for Coach Tillett? Let's go to Mitch, and then we'll get Lindsay.
Yeah, Coach, I asked them about the third quarter, too. What was kind of the message at halftime, and I guess how did you kind of just get them, I guess, re-motivated after the second quarter was a bit of a struggle?
Mm-hmm. We really feel like that run they went on in the second quarter, obviously credit to them. We turned it over, and we weren't turning it over prior to that. We had one turnover, I think 4:38 in the second quarter, and then we turned it over 4 times, and they got fuel, they got momentum that, you don't want to give a team like that type of momentum. And we weren't hitting shots, which is not like us either, credit to their D. So we felt like just kind of get back to being ourselves. We knew we had to hit big shots to stay even with them in parts of the game or long periods of the game. So I think it was just, do what we do well, try to find some ways to get stopped. We were trying to say rebound for your life today. That's what we were trying to do. Every rebound mattered that much in an opponent in a game matchup like this. But yeah, I think that's who they are, this group. I mean, that's who they've been all year. I think I shared a little bit, but we had these 2 conference losses in a row, and a lot of teams can go one direction with that. And this team just forged and said, no, we're powering through. We're still going to win the regular season. We're still going to win the conference championship. We'd never done those things before, so they're speaking it into existence before it's ever happened. So I think they had that same mentality at halftime.
Lindsay, do you have a question?
I'm going to ask this carefully because I do not usually ask coaches about what they're wearing, particularly female coaches. Yeah. But you look wonderful, and I want to know if there's any significance behind the all-white suit today.
Yeah, great question. So we have a couple of fashionistas on our team, some women that are really, really well-dressed, which my favorite advice that they're giving me before the game, this is my daughter who's on the team, redshirting, and then Milou, one of our seniors, says, make sure you do your makeup before you put your suit on because they're coaching me throughout, And I'm thinking, I'm not thinking about my makeup or my suit. I'm thinking about, are we going to rebound for our lives, and are we going to hit big shots tonight? But I think, I reached out to a friend. I've mentioned her before. Tiffany Sarden's the head coach at Chicago State. She sent me a couple looks. I'm not really that talented with fashion, so I have to lean on, colleagues, teammates. So anyway, she sent me a couple looks. We put it together, and off we go. We did get a little challenge from home about I needed to have good shoes, so tried to match that. Thank you.
Okay, we're here on the corner now.
With the talent that these 3 and your rest of the team, the attitude, the mindset, obviously they lead a lot of it, but what are you all doing as a coaching staff for a program like yours to do that so you're going to have other players get interested because they see that? Yeah. What have you learned through your experience, not only throughout your career, but with Longwood, a program like this, to get a team that didn't look like that they were going to give up for any reason at all?
Yeah, great question. I think there are just so many parts that make something like this work. Like, first of all, we've got an incredible staff, and we've got each staff member has to take a leadership role. If we're going to ask these women to go take leadership roles in their lives and be empowered, then we also have to empower our staff. So for example, Jessica on our staff does something called Ultimate Competitor. So yesterday they're doing head, shoulders, knees, and toes and grabbing a water bottle. But all these things add up over time, right? So that's one thing, Ultimate Competitor. Kalia, who played at Duke, is on our staff, and she's been in charge of bringing in powerful women. We just had a powerful woman in our locker room after the game, Ari Chambers, who's huge in the sport of women's basketball, huge WNBA supporter. So we bring in these powerful women. So that's another element that helps, you know. Ryan on our staff is you know, a loving, caring person that can challenge you without ever making you feel bad about it. So I think that's just all these elements added up together. And then this year we did bring in a sports psychologist, and we had donors that funded that for us. And that included executive coaching for me and the staff, and then our women could have individual and group sessions. And that's why you've seen them do mindfulness. I think that's why you see them stay present in each moment and, you know, be able to put on a second half performance like that despite the fact that we were down. So it takes a lot of people to make something like this happen.
Hey, Justin Poe from Longwood. Could you just summarize kind of what you told the team after? I mean, going from some of those people were with you 3-27 3 years ago. Now you're playing the NCAA tournament. You play the ACC champions pretty even for 3 out of 4 quarters on national TV. Could you just kind of take us through how you tried to summarize that moment with them?
Yeah. As I shared with some of you guys, I'm from a coaching family, so I've kind of stolen bits and pieces over the years. And my dad always had the last game after you kind of do your summary, you go to each senior, and everyone in the program talks to that senior and that you know is leaving. Now, it's getting harder and harder because of COVID years. Who's leaving? Who's staying? What are we doing? But we knew day, obviously, this is it. We've exhausted all eligibility. So we did that. We also did our normal routines. I think it's really important to do your routines. So we set goals every game. We went through all those goals. We talked about the progress. You know, Justin and I probably should have talked more about the 4-year progress. I was really, you know, kind of focused on today and this season, but there will be time for that. We were really excited about scoring on them in the second half because we do think that's something that we can do, and we felt like we pushed them more than they expected, and that's something we wanted as well. So then it just all becomes about Day and making sure we're saying, you know, proper goodbyes and supporting her in that moment because it's the last time she's going to put on the jersey for us.
Any other questions? Can we get Mitch over here, please?
Coach, I'm just kind of curious. There's a lot of coaches who have been in your position before where they build up a Power 5 or a group of 5 program and, you know, make some history at a mid-major, and then all of a sudden Power 5 teams start looking at them. Are you interested in hearing those calls, or are you committed to kind of making something long-lasting here at Longwood?
Yeah, great question. I think, you know, and I've shared this with our women, shared this with, you know, Michelle, our leadership. You know, I think you always have a responsibility to take those calls, especially as women. I think we have to take those calls. Like, I've been poured into by other women. I've been taught how to negotiate. I would have no experience negotiating. My parents are teachers. My dad always says, you're out of our realm with this stuff. We can't really help you. So I think, you know, for women to, you know, approach things the way that men sometimes or have been taught to or had the opportunities to do that maybe we haven't. So I think you take those calls. You know, at this point in time, I'm really happy with what we're building and what we're trying to do. And I'll answer my phone when calls come. And I'm also really committed to what we're doing here.
Second row over there.
I just wanted your thoughts on NC State, ma'am, how good of a team this is. What do you see in them in terms of going, you know, in the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, I think they're really dangerous for a bunch of reasons. One, the fact that they can defend for long periods of time. And did successfully in a really, really good league all conference season. I think that's, you know, a starting point. And then they're so balanced offensively. You know, we were able to get some people off rhythm, and then, you know, here comes another teammate ready. And that's what we tried to do in our league. They're doing it at a different level right now than us. So I think they can make a deep run. Excited to watch them, and it'll be good for us if they make a deep run. We'll feel even better about, you know, how we played here today. But excited about them. Very well coached. Very well coached. Yeah.
Any other questions? All right, Coach. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for covering our women.
A recording of this press conference will be available in the NCAA Digital Media Hub at www.ncaa.veritone.com. Transcripts are provided by ASAP and will be posted shortly.